way. And, of course, we have a few cases, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Usually when a company sends cases with a device, it means that it might not work so well without a case, and I'm not okay with that. But we'll check that out later. Also, they sent me the Bullets headphones. These should be USB Type-C because there is no headphone jack on this phone. At the event, they gave me the Bullets wireless headphones. So there's quite a bit of OnePlus stuff to check out. So we have this little note here: OnePlus community, a collection of individuals possessed of a tremendous understanding and superior taste in the finest technology. What's more important is that they're a part of what we do, and that includes you. All right, so OnePlus does obviously care quite a bit about their community. I mean, it's how they got started. Remember the OnePlus One? You had to have an invitation to buy it. And that's kind of how that community got started. I always loved that strategy, the old invitation strategy, because it made you care about what you were buying before you even saw it in real life. Okay, so this is the OnePlus 6T. It does have an in-display fingerprint reader, and I'm skeptical about that as well. So this is midnight black, and this is not the glossy one. It's more of a matte black, and it looks pretty awesome. Personally, this is the one that I would have picked. I like it a lot, and yeah, it's just really cool. In certain lighting, you can see kind of like an S go over it. You could kind of see it now. Just I don't know why with this lighting you can't really see it. So let's see what else is in the box. All right, we're just going to pull this off. Seems like there's something in here. And the phone itself also comes with a case. And again, not sure how I feel about that, because most phones that come with a case and really want you to use that case, because like the Huawei Mate 20 Pro I've been using, that actually, here's an invitation, a word from Pete OnePlus CEO. Yeah, anyway, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro that I've been using, it has that in-display fingerprint reader. There are almost no bezels on the sides, and it actually makes it really hard to use. You get false touches on the sides, and really stuff like that tends to work better when you have a case, and I really don't feel you should need a case for a phone. I mean, obviously it helps for protection and such. So anyway, we have a Type A to Type C adapter here. Type C to 3.5 millimeter adapter, because again, there is no headphone jack this time around. This is the first phone from OnePlus that does not have a headphone jack, after Carl Pei famously mocked phones that are getting rid of the headphone jack, and then OnePlus made that same decision. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal. It's a trend that we're seeing across the board, and we'll be all right. There are plenty of headphones that we can use. There are adapters, and I mean, we'll get there eventually. So here's that invitation letter from OnePlus CEO Pete. Or was it Pete OnePlus CEO? That's Pete Lau, by the way. And by the way, he did a great job presenting this phone, and it was his first presentation in English, so it was actually pretty cool, and he did a good job. So yeah, there's just a little letter to fans, and again, OnePlus really does care about their fans. You got to credit them for that. Again, I do love this back a lot. And another thing that I noticed, I did some hands-on with both of them at the event, and the glossy black picks up fingerprints really easily. So you can see there's a few fingerprints here just from me handling it, and maybe a little bit of residue from the stickers that I pulled off the back. But other than that, it does pretty well, and I think it's going to continue to do pretty well, even without the case, which is included. I now have 4 cases for this phone, and that kind of worries me. But we have a couple. Oh, we have the switch over here. I haven't actually reviewed a OnePlus phone since the OnePlus One, so I know that they added this switch at some point along the way. But I was kind of surprised to see it, because Android phones really don't usually have something like that. Yeah, so you can see we have the little teardrop notch at the top, and that's a matter of preference. Going back to what I'm doing with the Huawei phones, like the Huawei Mate 20 has that teardrop notch, and then the Mate 20 Pro has that big notch on top with depth sensing. So it's a trade-off. You want a small notch? You've got a small notch. On the other hand, if you want those extra security features that come with depth sensing and better facial recognition, you can have that too, but that requires a bigger notch. Personally, I like a good corner notch, which we rarely see anymore, or, well, we don't see anymore. That was like the first notch phones, like the LG V10, the V20. Those had corner notches, and you could actually do more with the display up here. So I'm excited to see a teardrop notch and see how well that goes. Okay, so we're going to set up the fingerprint. For some reason, the brightness got really dark at some point. I set up the facial recognition, and wow, this is really, really rough. Right, so that's a little better. So yeah, we're going to put our finger on the fingerprint sensor there. And I did set up the facial recognition. And one thing I got to say, I was at the OnePlus 5T launch last year in Brooklyn. And one thing that's pretty cool is that you can't fool the facial recognition with a selfie. I don't know exactly how they do it, but I did try. I trained it with my face. I took a selfie, and usually with most phones, you can just it's super simple. You just have to take a selfie, put it in front of the phone, and it'll work. And it wouldn't. I can tell you that. So that's good news, even though it doesn't have that depth sensing. I don't know how they do it, but good news. I gotta tell you, the auto bright is just awful here. I'm really just trying to get through setup, and I can barely read it. So yeah, it has a bunch of gestures here. By the way, turn on and off flashlight. That's old school. We're gonna turn all that stuff on because that is some old school OnePlus stuff there that's been there since really since the beginning. So we have different screen calibration modes. So I guess we'll go with default for now. I just wanted to give me a chance to turn on the brightness. OnePlus Slate is recommended for the font, so we're going to do that. It's recommended. All right, and hopefully, all right. Now we're in, and now we should be able to adjust the brightness finally. So let's just turn off auto brightness. There we go. Okay, that is much better. I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea why that was so bad. I don't think it's just the lighting in here. But yeah, what I was saying before I got so distracted is that it has that in-display fingerprint reader, and I love the idea of an in-display fingerprint reader. I think it's really cool. I think it's where we should be heading. But I think we're in kind of a transitional period right now where while they are pretty good, and I tried it out at the launch event. I've tried it out on other devices, and they're not as good as a regular fingerprint sensor. So just be prepared for that. But they are good. And usually what's really cool is that you have facial recognition and you have the in-display fingerprint sensor. So, I mean, what you do is you just kind of keep both of them on. So when you go to unlock the phone, one sees you and one, if the fingerprint sensor doesn't work right away, facial recognition will. Okay. Beautiful background that OnePlus chose on what's an AMOLED display, 1080p, which a lot of people want 1440p, and OnePlus has refused to make the shift, and I don't blame them, and I respect them for that. I don't think people can tell the difference between 1080p and 1440p. This is beautiful. There's no pixelation that's visible. And I've actually seen people pick up phones like a P20 Pro or something and say, well, this says 1440p, and then it's not. So, that kind of confusion does happen. All right. And, so this uses Oxygen OS, which is OnePlus's launcher, and they have their own camera app. Because back in the day with the OnePlus One, it used to use Cyanogen, back when Cyanogen was a thing. So yeah, the fingerprint reader doesn't work when the phone is asleep. That's kind of a bummer. You have to raise it to wake it up, which is fine. You can see it did work pretty fast. All right, so let's take a look at what else is in some of the other boxes that I have here. Here we have the OnePlus Bullet headphones, and I believe these will actually come with the device, although this obviously wasn't in the box. There's a nice little never settle message there. So this is all cardboard here. Best buds for life. I love it. I love it. All right, sorry, I got a little too excited there. I got too excited. Okay, so this is not cardboard on the inside, so let's just pull this open. All right, and these are our Bullets wireless headphones, and they do connect via USB Type-C, which is fine. Again, I think that we get there eventually, And Apple started that trend of no headphone jack, and a lot of people were and are resistant to it. But this was a couple years ago. We're not any closer to that magical Bluetooth world that we were promised. And wireless is where this all kind of heads eventually, and it's kind of sad that we're still in that transitional period, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at the wireless headphones. Now, if you ask me, to get us to that place where we want to be, this is what should be coming with our phones. It should be coming with Bluetooth headphones. Apple should be bundling AirPods with their $1,500 iPhones. All right, so there's a lot here. Free your music. I love little sayings that they have here. And we can see the earbuds here. This is just a drawing. Then on the inside here, those are our wireless Bullets headphones. Okay, we have some paperwork over here, the user guide, and we have a case also that's in the lid. So here's a little red OnePlus red case that I can't seem to get out of the packaging, but here it is. And yeah, you just take your and there's a charger too. Cool. All right, so what's in this little box on top of the case? Let's find out. I'm guessing it's an AC adapter. No, different buds for your earbuds. Pretty cool. These things, I believe they're $99, which standard price for what I assume are decent quality Bluetooth headphones. Okay, and there's a bunch of stuff that they gave us at the event as well. We have some OnePlus pins over here, and everybody that went to the event got these. We got stickers, and there's a sketchbook which I am never going to use. Okay, and you could just sketch in there, and also this little band. Like I said, OnePlus is really a company that does care about their fan base, and it's something that I can really appreciate. Just the fact that they kind of communicate what they're doing, and a lot of companies just don't do that. A lot of companies think that they're, or I should say, act like they're better than the people that buy their products. And OnePlus stays humble. So this is a phone that's available on T-Mobile now, and that's huge. This is the first phone from OnePlus that's available on a U.S. carrier. It's even more huge when you consider that Chinese companies actually tend to struggle with the current administration in being sold in the U.S. So that's a really big deal. So you can pick one up on T-Mobile. You pick one up on OnePlus.com. They also announced a new backpack that's not out yet. That's going to be $99. The launcher is clean. I'm really excited to dive into how far OnePlus software has come along the way since the last time that I really spent a lot of time with a OnePlus device, which is the OnePlus One. I mean, obviously, I've used OnePlus devices since then. I've been to product launches, but this is going to be my first full review. Always on display, front camera with a teardrop notch and facial recognition. I like the in-display fingerprint reader seems to be fast. And OnePlus did say at its event that it's the fastest in the world. They said first in the US, which is true because other companies that have done it, and there is more than one, don't sell their devices in the United States. So they are the first in the United States. They said fastest in the world, and I got to say, compared to the other ones I've used, it does seem faster. All right. So, yeah, I really like I think this is the color to get. If you like the really glossy black, you can get that, but it does seem to pick up fingerprints really easily. Anyway, guys, I'm going to do a lot of testing with this device over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for that. I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.